Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, April the 11th, 2023. Tuesday, April the 11th. Well, Lauren and Christine are meeting for lunch. Christine gets a call. It's from Chance. Chance tells her that the toxicology report is back on Phyllis's blood, and there were lethal traces of strychnine in her blood. I guess probably as lethal amounts as if you're, let me see if I got a little dropper here. If you're taking a bottle, got some, let's take a blood sample and drop, because we know Phyllis didn't really ingest any strychnine, but they probably had some and shook it in the blood sample, which is like, would that have really mixed right? Can you taint blood like that? I don't know. I'm not a master criminal, y'all, but I'm just saying lethal doses of strychnine in Phyllis's bloodstream. So that's starting the ball rolling, right? And so Lauren, Cricket, oh my God, I never call it Cricket. Christine says, okay, Chance, build me a case to prosecute. And he's like, that's exactly what I plan on doing. So he goes to work. Summer ends up bumping into him. Let me see, where is Summer? Bumping into him outside of Crimson Light on the patio, saying she want to work with him to solve her mother's case, right? You see Summer's face? Would you think you could work with that? No. Summer's too way emotionally wrapped up into this. It is way too new for her to even think anybody would work with her. She can't work with anybody to plan Phyllis's funeral, let memorial service, let alone work with somebody to solve a case. Her idea is such a hothead, profound, drew it out of the air and said, this is probably what happened. Chance is looking at her like, really? It's not quite how that works, but let me do the police work. And so he told her, I'm going to bring you in the loop on this, but can I trust you? Because she's like, you got to be at my mom's memorial service and watch everybody. Just watch them. And I'm thinking, what's that going to do? Let's be real. Because there were people that don't like Phyllis. Yes, they might be there out of respect, but are they going to be crying? No. They're just going to be there. Case in point, Diane. She would be there to support Jack. She would actually be there to support her daughter-in-law, even though she couldn't stand Phyllis. Would she be crying? Would she be distraught? No, she wouldn't. Victor's going to be there because that's his granddaughter's mother. Victor didn't like Phyllis. Now, would Victor be crying there? No, he's not going to be distraught. He's not going to be crying. He's not going to be any of that. So Summer's whole watch everybody, okay, that's a good thought, but if Diane did plan and murder Phyllis, she'd be cool, collected, and calm enough not to show it at the memorial service, right? Absolutely, she would. And probably what they're also going to find, what they're going to find traces of strychnine on Phyllis's mask that Chance took into evidence. What? When did Diane touch Phyllis's mask? I don't ever recall her seeing that. Us seeing that. So he just told Summer, I'm not going, police investigations don't do that. You could ruin the whole case. But I will try to make sure I make it to the memorial. So he goes, this is your mother's memorial service. Do you want to make it a police event? And I thought, well, Chance, plenty of folks' memorial services detectives show up at, because unfortunately, if they're following a lead, they are still doing police investigations at memorial services, right? But he says, yeah, he'll definitely try. to get there. So Christine is talking to Lauren, and what came out was surprising. I kind of saw it coming, yes and no, because let's be real, everybody. When was the last time they've had the actor that plays Paul grace us with his presence on the show? It's been years, right? It's been a very long. I'm trying to remember, when was the last time we saw Paul? There's always been Paul's fine, Paul's doing this, but so her coming up with, we went away for Christmas to see if we could repair things, and we found out that we couldn't. And Christine starts, crying, and oh, she's so, because look, they did the whole Paul and Christine, this they've been a love story that's gone through everything. Remember Isabella when she tried to kill Christine? I mean, goodness gracious, they've been through so much. And for the writers to just say, let's break them up so we could put Christine and Danny together for a hot minute. Let's do that. It's whatever. I'm not vested in Paul. We don't see Paul. Matter of fact, we don't see Christine. It's rare she's on the show. She just happens to be on right now because we got a Danny storyline going. Now she's back in the district attorney's office. We'll see her for probably 3-4 more months, and then she'll be off the show. Right? So, okay, we already know where that's going. Danny's in town. She's single. She was kind of looking at him extra longingly to me when she and him talked, and she was like, I saw the picture of you, Phyllis, and Daniel, that was posted. So you're close to her like that, right? I'm surprised. Look, and it's like he said, wait a minute. We've been amicable for years. Co-parent, she's Daniel's mother. So yeah, Christine wasn't trying to bash her, but she was. Like, after what she did, I'm surprised. Well, that don't mean he's going to hate her forever like you, Christine. So, we'll see. I could already tell what's going to happen with that, which fine. Who cares? It's a boring story. Danny is only there a hot minute. He's got to be on tour. He'll be gone. He'll be gone in a heartbeat. So we also had Tucker comes to visit Devon, and Devon said, would you like a drink? And Tucker's like, yeah. And Devon pulls out some apple juice, and Tucker's like, what's this? Apple juice. And he got a chuckle, and he goes, it's Dom's favorite. He goes, is it a good year? Yeah, check the date. That was kind of funny, because it was funny. Remember when Tucker met, it was probably the second meeting of him and Dom, and Dom says, oh, it's not Dom. Devon says it's time for his snack. He loves tapioca pudding. And Tucker was like, oh, tapioca pudding. 2, please. That was too cute. So I'm surprised he just said, ooh, toddler apple juice. Love this stuff. Man, me and my grandson have so much in common. So anyway, they talking Tucker's, really trying to, he said, well, with what happened with Phyllis, that kind of, you want to make sure you connect with family and blah, 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 blah. And so then he brought up McCall, asking Devon, so that's one of the reasons he wants Devon to have his company, because it's family, right? And Devon said, well, he was going back, he and Lily patched things up, and he was going to give their partnership a try again at Chancellor Winters. And Tucker said, how's that going to happen with it going public? He goes, oh, it's not going public. Jill's not going to take the company public. It's going to stay private. And Tucker was shocked. Oh. And so he goes, but wouldn't you still, you could still have my company for something on the side. Just because you're back with Chancellor Winters doesn't mean you can't. And Devon says, I don't want anything on the side. Well, I don't want something on the side. He's like, my company's just fine. I thank you for offering me yours, but the way things are going, I don't want my attention divided. And I was like, I don't know if I agree with that, Devon. Well, I just really don't, but okay. you know. And he said, but Jill has expressed interest in buying your company. She just wants you no part of the deal. And Tucker was like, look, I didn't offer my company to Jill, and I didn't offer my company to Lily. I offered my company to you. You're my son. I wanted it to be a family. Your business. You're my son. And Devon says, well, I'm sorry. I'm not no longer interested in buying your company. I'm sure you'll figure out what to do with it. And so Tucker was like, so Devon says, and look, if you're truly serious about wanting to build a relationship with me and then your grandson, baby steps. He goes, show me you've changed. And oh, Tucker snapped. I have changed. And I would have been like, whoa, hey, calm down. Because this right here, showing me you haven't changed. Right? So Devon, when Tucker snapped, Devon says, listen, I'm late for an appointment because Devon stood up. I'm late for an appointment and I really have to go. And he goes, I'm sorry, I'm not buying your company. I'm sorry you're upset, but I got a meeting to get to. And Tucker's just sitting there. And I'm thinking, Tucker, okay, you're upset because that was Ashley's condition. You know, and then Tucker warmed up to the idea. Tucker could care less if Devon was going to buy that company. How many times did he want to give up? Did he tell Ashley, that's a task I can't get that accomplished? Look, we can do this, this, and this with McCall. We could make it altruistic. He was not invested, either one. With Devon and his company, he wasn't. Ashley was pushing it. And he's thinking, oh, shoot, is she going to now not be interested? You know, if she's not going to play this game with me anymore, if once I tell her Devon is absolutely 100% out, right? So that was that. And we'll see where McCall's going to go. So Devon leaves there and he goes to society to meet Victor. And what I like is Devon respects Victor. Even though Victor tried to take Chancellor Winters in the IPO, how does he not see Victor being a major investor as a threat? But he asked Victor point blank. He says, are you the one that gave Jill the money, the investor that gave Jill the money? And he goes, what makes you think that? He goes, because there's only a handful of people in this town that could come up with that kind of money. And Victor says, yeah, but only one of them did, me. He told him, yeah, me, I did. And Devon says, okay, I figured so, thought so. You know, because Devon was the other person in this town that could come up with that kind of money and more and buy the, you know, and be the investor, which to me would have been the better bet, right? He would have had the majority. So he says, now I got to ask you, what is your plan? What's the deal? What do you want to do with this? And so Victor says, no, I mean, it's a good investment and I'm going to keep it. You know, I mean, I'm just going to stay out of it. You all are going to run it. He goes, just like, look, I keep my eye on Newman. He goes, the majority of my attention is Newman. And he says, so that's how I feel about that. You know, the majority is definitely Newman. And so Devon said, okay, but what happens as time goes on? And now Chancellor Winters really becomes a rival of Newman Enterprises. How are you going to handle that? And Victor chuckles. He goes, then I'm in a good position, aren't I? Because I got a major stake in both. So either way, it's a win-win for me, right? And Devon kind of looks at him like, yeah, you know, you're right. He says, but I see this, Victor. I see you did this. I feel you did this so that I would not want, I would pull out of the running for McCall Unlimited. And Victor says, well, I'm going to tell you, my boy, I really don't want there to be a bidding war with McCall Unlimited. I don't want that. And so Devon says, well, let me ease your mind. I'm not even going to put my hat in the running. I no longer am interested in McCall Unlimited. It's all yours. And Victor said, okay, well, I forget the word he used, but in other words, to be honest with you, he says, oh, that is the outcome I wanted all along. And Devon said, then I guess we both got what we want, right? So Victor, I'm surprised he was honest. He said, yep, that's what I want. I want McCall Unlimited. And now let's see how he goes about getting it from Tucker. And let's see what happens with Victoria, because Victoria was smugly telling Nick how she laid down the law with Daddy. And if he wants McCall Unlimited for Adam, he's going to have to use his own money. Okay, he will. Bam, use his own money. And now what you got to say, Victoria? Now you're going to say, why would you do that? Why would you anything, rival against Newman? But see, look, Victoria has her eyes on Chancellor Winters. I don't know, because she made some kind of dig with Nick saying, no, I got bigger fish I'm after. I'm after a whale. And it's like, what whale? Because you gave up with Chancellor Winters, but I guess that was for it going public. She probably now saying that I'll just try to take it over outright. Well, we'll see. She doesn't know Victor is the major investor backer in Chancellor Winters, and he's not going to let her do it. She doesn't know that, right? Victoria is too smug for her own Victoria good. Too smug. So last but not least, Summer Chance says, look, you just tell me when and where the memorial service is, and I'll be there. She goes, well, it'll be tomorrow, but the when and the where I'm keeping close to the vest. And he goes, well, why would you do that? She goes, because I don't want the naysayers, the people that, hate my mother. I don't want to give people time to plot and plan and react. And Chances that looked at her as like, well, that's interesting. I guess you can keep a secret. But before that, Nikki had come by. No, maybe it was probably after that. Nikki came by. It was after that, because Chance told Summer about the strychnine in her blood, and she was, I knew it. He goes, but I'm investigating this. This is a very different case now. Okay. So she almost wanted to tell Nikki and Vicky, no, Nikki and Nick about it, because they were saying, Summer, sometimes just random accidents happen. And she goes, it wasn't one. And she caught herself, right? Because she was getting ready to spill the beans. But she was standoffish to them, and they were, trying to tiptoe into it. And Nick hugged her, and she was like, oh, God, don't hug me. And part of it to me is, Dad, you know what? You were like me. We treated Mom like crap at the end, right? We did. So please, let's be real. So let's go to comment corner. Cynthia said, good morning. Good morning, Cynthia. And Libby said, LOL, you crack me up, daily recap lady. Tucker sipping his coffee and smiling, good morning, and muffins are great this morning. And Mrs. Martinez really outdid herself to Jack. Great idea, move him in. That would be hilarious if she moves him in. And then Libby also says, going way back in the Chancellor lineage, Chance's granddaddy, who, was Catherine Chancellor's husband, Philip. Jill had an affair with him. She was Catherine's hairdresser, and I think her manicurist too. So they fell in love. She and Philip fell in love. He was going to leave Catherine for Jill, Catherine was driving drunk. She picked him up for the airport. And she goes, I think he had gone to Vegas to get a divorce. And Catherine drove off a cliff, killing him. That's the heritage that leaves Jill too skanky to comment about Abby. Oh, excuse me, coughing again, y'all. I'm glad I don't have a lot of comments to read because I can tell this is only the beginning. Okay, here we go. And my idea about Victor and Devon is what you said. Victor would suggest Devon buys McCall and puts Adam in charge. Well, that did not happen. Devon gave him the go-ahead to get it all on his own, right? So that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. Let's see how much Tucker protests. At this point, I think Tucker's going to go for the big payday. I really do, right? Even though we know Devon isn't involved and Diane isn't involved in Phyllis's death, I hope the plot pressures her real self to come out and break up her and Jack. Ashley and Tucker were hot. They made my toes curl. That was such a cute scene. I love scenes with Ashley and Tucker. Ashley is really falling for him, slowly but surely. She was before she left to Paris, right? She was definitely falling. And back to that announcement that Summer put, the picture Summer put in the Genoa City Chronicle. Phyllis heard her phone chime and she read it and she says, Summer, what are you up to? So you know Phyllis is going to be there in disguise, right? Look, everybody, all she needs to do, this is all she needs to do. Put on a pair of framed glasses. That's it. That is it. Nobody will recognize her. I mean, my God, nobody recognizes that Clark Kent looks awfully a lot like Superman. Just Superman doesn't have glasses. Nobody can see that, right? Nobody would recognize Phyllis if she just threw some glasses on. That would work for me too, right? So anyway, we already know she's going to be there. She wants to observe what's going on. And probably Stark will be there trying to usher her out, and people will be looking like, what woman is he with now? He's supposed to be so in love with Phyllis, right? So we shall see what happens with the rest of this plot. I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.